Great characters in video games are what normally is like the icing to a delicious cake. Once everything is in place, character design and dialogue is what really brings it home for me. But what's even better than having a great character that everyone loves is characters that everyone hates. Characters that you really hate and knowing that other people also hate them really brings this sense of community, and it sort of feels like magic that is unique to gaming. So for today, we're gonna list the 10 most hated characters in Baldur's Gate 3. Buckle up guys, enjoy! Starting off at number 10 is the annoying painter slash artist, Oskar.
I am the Oskar Fevras, at your service.
You're gonna be meeting this guy as a slave for ransom at the Zentharum basement. From the first encounter of this dude is just really annoying. He presents himself as one of the most famous artists in Baldur's Gate and would be a great investment for you to save his ass. If you want to really save this guy, you can buy him as a slave from Brem, but believe me, it'll cost you. You really need to cough up some serious coin in order for you to save this guy. As Bardic Inspiration summarized clearly, bro, I remember paying his fee. Cost me an arm and leg. I literally had to sell some magic items to afford him, and then it was like, thanks, can you just give me some more money to return safely?
Excuse me, what?
I mean, excuse me? I just saved your sorry ass and you're still asking for more money to cover your travel expenses? What the heck? Not only can you actually get him for free, you can talk to him after freeing him and he asks for more. You can turn him down and he mentions something without alcohol for his trip. So I assume that's all he wanted it for. Oh well, you're actually gonna be meeting this guy later in the game around Act 3. There's this side quest that you need to resolve a ghost problem for him and his lover. Long story short, it's his fault. God, when you're talking to the angry ghost, it's the woman that committed suicide and was dragged back to haunt this stupid attic. And he keeps in butting in, asking, but that wasn't my fault, right? Dude, shut the F up. With all the trouble that you went through, like saving him as well as resolving his ghost problem, surely he has a really nice reward for you, right? No, apparently he'll just be giving you a painting, so is it worth it? Absolutely not. Number 9 in the list is Raphael's right-hand lackey, Korilla. First impression of her started quite well. She saves you from gut when you get captured, and she'll soon let you know that Raphael centers, so don't go dying easily.
Korilla Heartflame. At your service. You made quite an impression on my master. He sends his regard.
I was like, cool, somebody got our backs. They gave her a cutscene power too. If you let Priestess Gut knock you out and don't escape your chains, Korilla will show up and one-shot the ogre plus the gut. She'll even be in your camp celebrating when you save the grove. You can see her again around Act 2 in the Mason's Guild, but she won't engage you, and if you get too close, she'll try to teleport out as quickly as possible. From that moment, I honestly thought that it's a bit creepy, sorta gives you like this feeling of you're being watched vibes, but in Act 3, it all went downhill from there. Korilla, Raphael's minion, after the House of Hope, I have nothing but utmost hatred left for her. After we learned what she did to her sister, I absolutely agree with this. She went from this creepy errand girl to this annoying henchman in one encounter. What's ironic is that when you eventually fight her, she's just a level 5 while you or your friends are already level 12. I feel that the whole situation was an oversight. She was meant to be Raphael's right-hand man, only to find out she's just a level 5 wizard. My last playthrough, she went over her self-writer speech about how we are so in trouble. Your gear swipes her stained clean from the hells. She died an explosion not even targeted at her on turn 1 for me. Pure collateral damage. I remember accidentally hitting her with my chain lightning.
Oh no! Anyway, last week...
8th spot is Cazador. Need I say more?
Oh, you are weak, my child. You are a small, pathetic little boy who never amounted to anything.
This vampire lord is easily one of the most evil characters in gaming. I mean, imagine being trapped for centuries as a vampire spawn. Including children is just insanity. You're just doing your thing, minding your own business, and boom, you just got bit. And now you have to follow this power-hungry lord who treats everything as his personal playthings. The saving grace for Cazador for me was the build-up and introduction to his story. It was actually pretty good thanks to the amazing performance of Astarion. This one for me, every time Astarion would tell a story about him, made me want to speedrun to Baldur's Gate just to kill the bastard. Then hug Astarion and tell him, don't worry, you don't have to be manipulated by me, I'll kill Cazador anyway. I have to admit he was every bit as bad as Astarion said, and then some. Truly an absolute loathsome creature, locking up thousands of souls for centuries like that. Agreed, I rarely look forward in killing characters in a game, but with him, all bets were off. Man, the collective hatred people have for Cazador should have propelled them more into the list, but it fell short to the amount of hate our 7th spot had. That will be our very own guardian, the Emperor. I was actually surprised why people hate this lovable squid. Apparently, the Emperor had more I hate this guy upvotes than Cazador. Honestly, the Emperor catfished me, gaslight me, then tried to seduce me, then got all butthurt when I want a backup plan. Oh yeah, when I don't want to keep a dude enslaved for all eternity, you take your tentacles and just go home. I guarantee this MF has Andrew Tate on speed dial. Totally get the catfishing comment. I mean, we got bamboozled in making our own guardian. Having those cool dream sequences with our ideal partner was really exciting. Only for it to blow up in our face to let us know that the guardian was actually a space squid.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Well, at least it's consistent. Mind flayers have no soul, so naturally they would seem like sociopaths to us. On the bright side, you can still romance the Emperor. You can either select the Guardian form if you don't like all the tentacle stuff, but for me, he's just a big nope. Now for one of the most hated that I really expect to get in the list, which is Vlaakith.
Who?
Who am I? I am Vlaakith, undying queen of the noble Githyanki, God Regent of the 6 arms of Turnaroth.
Quoting from the wise words of this Reddit user, she is worse than anything that Elder Brain could imagine to be. Yeah, the fact that she is aware of the illicit threat and did nothing but to try to kill Orpheus really showed her disregard for everything that isn't more power. Vlaakith is the queen of the Githyanki. She's actually an immortal lich who molded a whole civilization of Githyanki society around her image. For centuries, the Githyanki became fanatic zealots that would stop at nothing to follow her every whim, even to the death. I could tolerate Vlaakith if she was just evil, but her constant outrage screaming is what makes me hate her as just annoying. You're supposed to be a god queen. Have some decorum and stop acting like the bitches Karen in the side of Faerun. What's awful is that she has this thing for absorbing the souls of Githyanki warriors in order to fuel her immortality and her divine powers. She just likes to call it the highest honor a Githyanki warrior could have, plus a really catching name called Ascend. Ascended Gith are just food for her basically. In order to cement her reign for all eternity, she wants you to kill her nephew, or is it cousin? I don't know for sure, but what I do know is that this is one crazy lich you should stay away from.
Do this and ascend.
Number 5 is, I bet you guys didn't expect this one to be in the list, introducing the screaming kid outside the Sorcerer's Sundries. That one boy who keeps screaming bigger, bigger, make it bigger at the top of his lungs. At a piercing pitch outside the Sorcerer's Sundries, he starts yelling before the game even finished loading. Once or twice I can deal with, but after passing through the areas dozens of times, he's getting on my nerve. Other characters may be despicable in the game, but this one NPC that hurts me IRL. Speaking of annoying, I'll just throw in this newspaper kid that keeps on screaming just outside the alchemy shop. Seriously, the amount of rage induced by these two kids is just legendary. I played a lawful good playthrough and the kid is the only one that made me snap. It still ticks me off that you can't kill him. I shot him in the face with 9 magic missiles and those gloves that add plus 1d8 to each hit. I even tried disintegrating him. Each time he just runs off and comes back 5 minutes later screaming the same thing. I hate him. I hate the kids that sell papers and sandals and where you buy sandals line. Hate them so much. I've considered burning down Baldur's Gate just to shut him up. I genuinely considered how I might get him accidentally killed on my good guy run, so my tab didn't have to do it. Alright guys, I know these kids are annoying. Let's redirect the hate to our top 4. Now it's time for us to bring the big guns. Number 4 is definitely Kagha. She's easily one of my personal most hated. I mean, she just looks like a stuck-up witch and annoying. She even tried killing Arabelle with her snake. Yes, provided Arabelle just tried to steal from them, but she did it for her people so they don't get kicked out. From the moment I saw her, she certainly is up to no good. For you guys who don't know, she has a secret questline that reveals that she is in league with the Shadow Druids and was plotting to get rid of Halcyon to take over the Grove. If you guys only knew the Shadow Druids are, well, for most parts, druids that aren't even liked by other druids. In the previous game, Shadow Druids, guess what? They tried to kill you too. Kagha would kill that kid with her snake. She even used the tiefling as a convenient cover-up for her plot, whether if it's a goblin or Halcyon's fault that he got captured and was replaced by Kagha as the acting leader in the Grove. It's still far too convenient for her to take advantage of the situation. There's also this secret ending to the conflict in the Grove where the Shadow Druids just massacre everyone. While if you don't resolve her secret questline, she'll just stand there congratulating you for saving the Grove and probably make another evil plot. You should just kill her instead. Number 3 is a character that certainly united the community in the hate, which is the angry dog handler from Rivington. This witch is a glorified dog abuser and she hurt her best boy, Scratch. Bet the dog handler in the city is pretty high on a lot of people's hit list. Raise hand to Scratch, you're gonna lose that hand and everything attached to it. As Dirge, can you make him lose his hand? I think that would be a very fair use for this violent impulses. Oh, that witch? I effing hate her. Easily the top of my list. I murder her every time. We first met Scratch in Act 1 around the forest surrounding the blighted village. There you can see him getting worried about his dead friend. Depending on your choices, you can either take him in or just leave him. Then when you reach Rivington, you'll get to meet the worst dog handler in gaming. She'll tell you that Scratch is one of their courier dogs and she'll demand you to give Scratch because he is property. As a sane individual like myself, I opt to just kick her out. Apparently, other players wasn't as tame as I did. I didn't know her. I nearly finished the game and had long past Rivington. I heard she was a dog abuser, backs away, abandoned my plan to stop the absolute, and hightailed right to that wretched door and smacked her up. Now for number 2, which is our resident racist, Aradin. I mean, just look at the guy, he's got those stupid broccoli haircut. That alone is just an absolute red flag. He's got that cuts in front of you line in McDonald's haircut. I saw a guy at MOMA look at a painting and say, yo, that's bussin', and he looked a lot like Aradin. Is that a guy who almost or absolutely does get into, depending on how things go, get into a fight with Zevlor at the Grove? The same guy I make sure to deck in the face every time as soon as I get there? This dude is just oozing that hateable energy. The moment he leads a group of goblins in a refugee camp filled with non-fighters and children, demanding to open the gate for him and his group, which is absolutely his fault from the first place while he was searching for clues in his night song gig. You have to do some really specific stuff, and he'll also show up outside Sorcerer Sundries. If you tell him you have the night song, he'll gank your suite in elf song and you have to kill him and his crew. As an added bonus, his corpse never leaves the floor for the remainder of the game. That prompted me to start a body dump in the sewers. I added Lorcan to it as a favor to Roland as well. Later, my husband asked me what I've been doing in the particular half-hour slot game time. And I replied moving corpses around because the carpet was a mess. And I feel like the look he gave me was entirely unwarranted. At the moment I saw this guy, I immediately knew this guy can't even finish 2 sentences without spouting some racist crap. As hard as it is to top Aradin as the worst character in the game. Now, for the champion of the most hated character in Baldur's Gate 3. In the list of the most hated, this guy takes the cake. I'm talking about Wulbren. It's Wulbren, especially after Barkus grew on me. After I rescued him, I was like, excuse me, only I'm allowed to make fun of my gnome buddy, you ungrateful prick. This is actually a valid mention. I was excited to meet Wulbren after having heard such praise from Barkus, but man, this guy is a pest. Barkus put himself in such peril trying to save his friend, and Wulbren is such a prick to him. He reminds me of a friend I had when I was young and didn't know any better. Wulbren doesn't deserve Barkus. Dude, I think Wulbren is just infuriating. We first know about Wulbren through Barkus when we save him while he was tied in a spinning windmill in the blighted village. Once you get him down and help him, he'll let you know that he was looking for his friend Wulbren. You can't help to feel the admiration for Barkus that would go to any length to save his buddy. That's a true bro for you right there. Only to find out Wulbren, his friend, wants to murder all the Gondans. Yup, my guy literally called me Slayer of Dragons, Destroyer of Catholic Thorn, and the Shadow Curse, Enemy of the Absolute. He then proceeds to tell me, Paladin of an Ancient, that he plans to brutally genocide an entire race of people who were former slaves and then end the dialogue and start waddling away like I'm not about to make his skull concave with a level 4 smite. Better not, at the end of the day, he's all you blow up the Steel Watcher's foundry, which is exactly what I asked you to do, but the Gondians survived. I really want you to blow up the Gondians actually, murder them right now in broad daylight. No, then we are enemies and I will butcher your firstborn in their sleep. And that's it guys, thank you for watching the top 10 most hated characters in Baldur's Gate 3. Would love to know what you guys think, or do you agree with the list? If not, would love to know about your personal list, including your questions and clarifications in a comment down below. Shoutouts for all the people who subscribe and keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate you guys for all the amazing support, and for all the people who haven't subscribed yet, thank you for watching my videos. I hope I earn subscriptions in the future, but if I earn today, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out a lot. If you want to support me directly, please consider joining our D20 Rolls Club by hitting the join button down below, or maybe Patreon would very much appreciate it. Finally, that's it for me. Hope to see you soon on the next Master Box Show. Peace out. Bye guys.